Hello, my name is David Snopek. I'm the creator of Bibliobird.com. Bibliobird is an open source web application that helps you learn a foreign language by reading, watching, or listening to content in that language. Right now, it's mostly geared towards Polish native speakers learning English. Let me show you.
Imagine you're a Pole learning English. First, you find an interesting text to read. You can listen to the audio read by a native speaker. Some texts have both audio at a natural speed and a little bit slower. If you encounter a word that you don't know, simply click on it and receive a translation in your native language, in this case, Polish. Here we can see this word has several possible translations, but this particular translation, highlighted in yellow, is the one that applies in this context. Bibliobird also correctly translates phrasal verbs, like find out, and idioms. All the words you click on are automatically added to your personal dictionary. You can review these words in the popular flashcard program Anki. In another video, I show you how to synchronize Anki with Bibliobird. Or you can just review them directly in your web browser right here. Today, I'm going to talk about how Bibliobird works. Specifically, we're going to answer the questions, where do the translations come from? How does it know which translation is correct? What about idioms and phrasal verbs? This all comes down to how texts are added to Bibliobird. When a text is entered into the system, the first step is to run a process called the automatic annotator. This attempts to break the text into sentences, those sentences into words, and look up each word in the dictionary. This is a lot harder to do accurately than it sounds. Bibliobird uses artificial intelligence and machine learning to deal with tricky situations. For example, if it encounters the word look, is it the verb, as in they look strange, or is it the noun, as in he had a strange look on his face? They're probably translated totally differently in a foreign language, like they are in Polish, to either wyglądać or mina. And if it is the verb, how does Bibliobird know which meaning is being used? Most words have more than one meaning, or sense as they're usually called in dictionaries. Consider the following two sentences. They look strange, and they look at the sky. Those are two separate senses that would probably be translated differently. In Polish, they'd be wyglądać and patrzeć. Or how can Bibliobird tell when it's really a phrasal verb? For example, I looked the word up in the dictionary. The phrasal verb look up actually means to search or find, which is very different from looking in an upwardly direction. In Polish, look up would be szukać or znaleźć. Totally different than the other examples. Bibliobird's automatic annotator still isn't very good. It needs a lot more work and makes a lot of mistakes, particularly with the type of examples I just gave in this presentation. That's why the next step in adding a text is for a human to use the manual annotator to correct any mistakes. Let me show you. We're going to add a text. I'll paste the text here, go to the bottom, and click Save. The automatic annotator is running, and here is the manual annotator. We can click on a word and see what the annotation looks like. Here it says look is a verb, and it got it right in this context. But here, it also says look is a verb, when it's really a noun, so we'll fix it. We can also mark which sense of the word is correct, in this case, a facial expression. Now we can save the text and view it. Switching first to Polish, so the translations come in Polish, we can see that it's now correct, with the translation to mina. The corrections that we made can be fed back to the automatic annotator, which will learn from them and hopefully become more and more accurate. These translations actually come from Bibliobird's own dictionary. The entries in the dictionary are originally imported from the Wiktionary, the Wikipedia's dictionary project. However, sometimes they don't have an entry we need, or there are mistakes, so we need to correct them. So the final 3 steps are automatically importing any new entries in this text from the Wiktionary, manually checking or improving these entries, and manually checking or improving their translations into Polish. But we aren't going to talk about those steps today. That is a topic for another video. In conclusion, the reason Bibliobird gives such awesome translations is that they don't come automatically, like from Google Translate. Google Translate is a great tool and can be very useful, but frequently it's just totally wrong, which is bad for learners, especially for the lower levels like beginners or intermediate learners. On Bibliobird, the process starts automatically, and our automatic annotator is getting better and better, but it will never be perfect. So everything is corrected and improved by a real human, so that in the end, everything accurately matches the given context. If you're interested in learning more, please register an account on Bibliobird.com and sign up for the newsletter. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.